Hello my friends, welcome to Pro Strings. I'm Henriette and in this video today we're exploring the pros and cons of playing the violin while standing up or when sitting down. Lots of you have asked me about that, so we're going to explore the reasons why you might want to stand up or sit down while playing, what the advantages or disadvantages are. And by the end of this video, I'm also going to give you an alternative way which has all the advantages of playing the violin while sitting down, whilst it has all the advantages of standing up as well. So stay tuned until the end of this video. So along with lots of my colleagues, I encourage all of my students to practice the violin while standing up. And the reason for that is that you have a better control of how you balance your body, how you stand, and I'll come to that in a moment. And it also encourages a good posture because you can play with a straight back and have your torso upright while you play. Whilst you do that, it is more likely that you can relax your shoulders and arms better while you play standing up. So what are we thinking about here? First of all, I'd like you to think about your feet, and I'd like you to practice when you step forward with your left foot a little bit so that you encourage some movement going forwards and backwards. And that is a more natural movement for playing the violin compared with when you stand with your legs next to one another. That will encourage you to sway side to side when you play. And you can imagine that when you sway side to side when you play, it is not as helpful for your back as keeping your back straight and moving forwards and backwards. So when you play and you have your violin up, try to step forward with your left foot. That counterbalances the violin being on the left side of your body. It gives you more support. And then you may wriggle forwards and backwards. Having a good stance, a good basis on which you build the rest of your body, and I've done a whole video about that, stance and balance and mindfulness in violin playing. I'll put the link to that video right here so you can check it out. But having a good stance sets you up well for a straight back and a well-balanced upper body. And when your upper body is well balanced, it allows the arms more freedom to play. And you can imagine that when your arms have more freedom to play, your bowing technique will improve. Your left hand will be playing with more ease. You can play faster, and also you have more movement in your left elbow. So what am I thinking about here? So we started with our feet and we're building our body up from the ground upwards. Try to tilt your pelvis. So what that means is that instead of standing with a hollow back, I'm tucking my pelvis under. So I'm rotating the pelvis this way so that I'm standing really tall, and then I'm lifting my torso up. I pretend I'm pulling myself up by a string of hair like that so that I make myself taller. Now when you do that, you actually create more space underneath the violin. And here comes one of the big advantages of practicing standing up. Not only have you got a better balance and it promotes a good posture, but also you've got more space underneath the violin from where the sound can freely move into the space that you're playing, rather than when you are sort of slouched like this, the sound being absorbed by your clothing, and especially in winter when you wear woolly jumpers and so on. That is a distinct difference in sound when you stand up. And this is a major advantage of playing the violin standing up. This is the big reason why soloists, when you go to concert halls and you see soloists play standing up, because they need the sound to project into the space that they're playing. So standing up gives you much more space underneath the violin, much more space for the sound to come out, much more space for your arms to move around more freely. Of course, when you have a music stand, your music is at eye height, because if you work to stand up really tall and your music stand is down, you're being counterproductive there, you see. So raise the music stand up much taller than where most people have it. So when my music stand is at this height and I'm playing off this music stand, the likelihood is that I'm going to bend forwards to read the music better, and all my advantages of playing the violin standing up have disappeared, you see. So my music stand needs to be as tall as possible Now this is a tall music stand and it's just about tall enough for me. Can you see now my music is going to be at eye height and I can play standing up really tall, and I've got all my advantages there of playing the violin standing up. Now lots of you may be playing in an orchestra or playing with friends in chamber music, or maybe in church in a group of people where it is much more common to sit down while playing. So I'll give you some pointers about playing the violin while sitting down so that you can make an informed decision about what is right for you. Now lots of chairs in public spaces are on the low side. I'm going to show you my chair here. So when you play in an orchestra, lots of people are playing on fairly low chairs. Of course, you want to make sure that first of all you've got a chair with no armrests, because otherwise playing will become very, very tricky. But then you want to make sure that you're sitting maybe slightly taller. This is a very, very tiring position for me to play. My thighs are horizontal at the moment, and it will be just slightly more energetic a seat if you play with your thighs slightly more angled. So I'm going to grab my cushion, my subscribe cushion, by the way. So if you haven't already and you're enjoying this video so far, do please subscribe to this channel. So I'm going to sit on my cushion, and that raises my bottom a little bit, and playing therefore is easier because my thighs are slightly tilted. Actually, I'm going to pick up another cushion because I want to be just slightly higher, and this feels a lot more active and energetic when I play. So when you play, make sure that your legs, your thigh bones are slightly tilted so that they're higher at the hip end than at the knee end. You can perhaps see also that I'm playing with my feet flat on the floor. I see lots of people play like this, and what that does is it hollows your back. So playing like this is very tiring for a lower back, so you want to make sure that you place your feet well in front of you. So also not one, some people do that just for a little bit of relaxation, one foot under the chair, but keep them well in front if you can. And then flat on the floor to give you more support. So now I've got 4 points of support when I play sitting down. It's my 2 feet on the ground and also my 2 sit bones on my chair, and that gives me really good stable seat, because what you're wanting to try and achieve is that again your upper body is upright like you were standing up, and that is very tiring when you sit on a chair while you play. And I see quite a lot of this in orchestras, that people lean back. That's fine in between pieces, but as soon as you start to play, try to come up and sit as tall as you can. So the same applies to what I was telling you while you were playing standing up, is that you lengthen your torso, you lift yourself up as tall as you can so that you open up the space in front of you. And this is what we're trying to achieve. I want to be free in my arms to be able to move, you see. And when I'm free to move my arms, it means also that I've got more space underneath the violin when I play. Because if you lean back, look what happens. The instrument comes much closer to your clothing. So therefore, more sound gets absorbed. It's not the end of the world when you play in an orchestra, because there are many of you. But when you play a solo part, you absolutely don't want that. And some orchestras now begin to stand up as well, because the sound is simply much better. So this is something that people find generally more tiring than standing up, but when you make some adjustments, it is a good way of playing as well. So long as you make sure that your feet are flat on the ground and your thigh bones are slightly tilted. Now then people say to me, but then I can't bow because I'm hitting, especially when playing on the E string, I'm hitting my upper leg, my right leg when I play. Yes, you probably do, and that has something to do with the angle that you sit on your chair. So when you play in an orchestra, make sure that your view towards your music stand is straight. So if you sit on the left hand side of your desk, then you might move your chair a little bit further out this way turn your chair maybe a little bit and point your violin towards your music like this. So I'm never sitting straight across from my music stand. I'm sitting at an angle and my violin points at the music stand. Now I can do two things. You can actually spread your legs and bow in between your legs, and lots of people do that, and others just sit like this, angle their body a little bit, which is less than ideal, and bow on the side of your legs. And this is why some people choose to play with their right leg down so that you've got space to bow. Those are 3 different possibilities. Explore all 3 of them and you'll find what suits you. Now, as promised, I'm going to give you another way of playing. So I'm going to move all of this out of the way and I'll show you in a moment. And my thing, which I really enjoy, and it helps me relax during playing, it makes playing slightly less tiring for when I'm standing up long periods of time. I use it a lot while teaching as well, is the bar stool. And when you play sitting on a bar stool, of course, all the rules apply from what I've just explained about sitting down on a chair, in that your feet should be flat on the floor. Can you see that my thigh bone is much more angled, much more exaggerated compared with when I was sitting on the chair? So it is about the halfway house between sitting down and standing up. And I've got the added bonus of when my feet get tired, I can put one foot up on that little ledge that's there, or the other foot. You see, so my right leg is out of the way as well when I play. So big advantage compared with when you play sitting down on a chair. And I can move my left leg around so that it gets less tiring, because movement is the key to being able to sustain your playing for longer. If you play in an orchestra and you have a rehearsal day all day, you might as well think about how you're going to be moving, because being in the same position for longer periods of time is very tiring for most people. So if you play at home and you feel a bit tired and you want to make your playing slightly easier, do consider the bar stool. This exact bar stool is no longer available, but I have selected suitable ones for you, and the link is in the description down below this video for you to easier find a bar stool. Of course, this bar stool has got a backrest, but I don't really need that, because you should never really lean into it like that. It's way too far back. I'm sitting right on the edge here, and of course it hasn't got any armrests either. So when I now play, it's got all the advantages of both standing up and sitting down, and you'll find when you practice sitting on a bar stool, it's much less tiring and you've got a really good posture like that. I really appreciate you watching today. Thank you so much. Do please subscribe to this channel. I also encourage you to consider becoming a member of Henriette's Violin Club for more in-depth videos about violin playing. There is an explanatory video about the memberships, and I'll put the link to that in this right-hand corner here. But if you click the join button down below this video as well, it explains to you the different membership levels and what kind of video classes you can expect in each level. Have a wonderful day, my friends, and let me know how you got on.